Hi everybody, welcome to a new series of tutorials on Mela Synth. So I just loaded AUM and I have created a new audio channel and I have loaded a Mela Synth as a audio unit instance. So let's open it up. So this is what it looks like. I have also connected an external controller so that I can play some preset for you. Before I start, I like to say that there are some free codes for subscribers. So if you are a subscriber to the SoundForMore channel, please send an email to soundformore@gmail.com if you want to participate in the competition of giving away free codes for Mela Synth. So Mela Synth is a unique synth app by Nikolozi, and in this video I'm going to give you an introduction to the controls and interface. So I'm not going to go through every single control, and I'm also going to give you a taste of what it sounds like. So let's start. From the top left, what you can see is that we have 4 oscillators. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for each oscillator you can choose a waveform, for example triangle, and in order to listen to it, just let's click where it says here default to pop up the list of preset, and let's choose init. So let's also move down the shape dial so that this does not influence the waveform. So let's try. So this is a basic waveform triangle. Let's listen to another one, a sine one, just to give you an idea. We have also phased distortion as a waveform, which gives you also the ability to set the harmonic settings. It's quite interesting as an oscillator because it gives you also the ability to move waveform through this wave dial. And that will change the characteristic of the sound. As I mentioned, you have 4 oscillators. You can choose to change the semitone, span, etc., the level of each one, and even the retriggering as well. If you want to add another one, just click on the next oscillator and choose a waveform, and there you go. Next, we have a section for filters. We have 2 filters, and both filters can be set to run in series and parallel. So I will show you that in a moment. And here you have your XY pad where you can change the settings really of your cutoff and resonance. You can change, for example, to morph between a low pass, band pass, and high pass. You can change the type or even set some drive, which can be really useful. And if you want to go to the second filter, just click on filter number 2. Change the type, and there you go. Next, we have a section which allows you to control the amplitude envelope for all the oscillators. This is what when it is set to amp env. But additionally, you have 2 additional envelope 2 and envelope 3, which you can use as modulation sources. You have also 3 LFO, low frequency oscillators, LFO1 to LFO3. For each of the LFO, you can choose a waveform, and when you've done so, then you can set the parameters like the rate of frequency, depth, the phase, the sync, and also if it is bipolar or not. Interestingly, from an envelope perspective, you can change the mode. For example, if you're on a sustain, it will keep the sustain. If you select it as a trigger, effectively goes straight down, like so. And it can also be set to actually loop, like so. You also have a bias button here, which allows you to set the level of the sustain as 0, which becomes the level below that will be negative, level above that will be positive. Exactly what happens on a bipolar effect, for example, on the LFO. So this is what we have gone through is what is called the design page, as it says here. We can also go to the shape page, and in the shape page you have the ability or possibility to apply different effects. So as you can see, you can apply distortion, phaser, chorus, flanger and delay, and for each one of them you have different settings, which I will go through in a future tutorial. One of the big thing in Mela Synth is the ability to apply multiple sources for modulation. You can do these in the modulation metrics. So for example, you choose the source. Let's choose, for example, the LFO1, which we already activated. You click and drag, for example, to the right to set the intensity, in this case in 100%, and then you choose a target. And there are really lots of possibilities when it comes to targets. For now, let's choose all oscillators and let's change the actually, now let's go to the oscillator number 1. I think we set it to phase distortion and then change the harmonic. Okay, so let's try. And if I go back to the design page, you can see we have phase distortion where we left it. And so the LFO1 is going to modulate the harmonic dials here. Okay, and that is what you hear at the moment is the modulation effect. Another important characteristic or set of functionality is the routing. So here you can set, for example, to have the filters in series and parallel, and the picture will change accordingly in shared split, like so, or 2-2 split, or 3-1 split. So you see 3 here going to 3 oscillator going to 1 filter and 1 oscillator 4 going to filter number 2. You can also choose the position of the filter, so you can of the effects. So for example, you can say that the effects are after both filters. In this case, you can see the effect is after the filters, but you can change that. So for example, set this before filter 1 and then remove the effect before filter 1, like so. Next, we have a global set of parameters where you can change the output level, the number of voices, which if I remember well goes to up to 16. Yeah. And you can change also the glide if you want that glide effect when you move from one note to the other. Below these you have velocity settings, so that you can set what is the velocity that is sent to the synth engine when you play or depress one of the key on the keyboard. And you can lock the scroll of the keyboard. You can go up or down an octave, which it will show you here. And you can decide to hold on to notes. Okay, so this hand is the equivalent of hold in other synth. You can also change the width of the keyboard as well. And finally here you have your pitch bend up and down. At the moment it will not do anything because it's not programmed to do so. So if you want to hear it in action, just go to the source here, select pitch bend, give it some intensity, and let's for example act on all oscillators and on semitones. And let's try now. So as I mentioned, one of the great aspects of Mela Synth is the ability to have lots of modulation settings applied to different parameters of the synth. Now, before I leave you, let's go through some of the presets just to give you a taste of what it sounds like. So let's click on the init button here. Let's choose chorus as a lead. Okay, interesting. As you can hear, there are different sounds compared to other synths. So that is one of the things I like of Mela Synth from Nikolozi, that it gives you the ability, it gives you really different type of sounds. Let's go to leading the way. And this is interesting. I can use that, for example, in trance type of music. Okay, perfect. Let's choose, for example, something different now. Let's go to pads. My preferred pad is actually Zebra, so let's try this one. and so on. There are a lot of other presets which are really, really nice. For example, in the case there is this winter which I really like. And as well, it has very interesting type of effects. So let me give you an example. This envelope time thumb. Or a modular, for example. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed and see you next time. Bye.